Welcome back to Four-Legged Loyalty, our channel where we tell inspiring stories about the love and loyalty of our four-legged friends. I'm your name, and today we're featuring a special story in a video titled, At a Funeral, a canine dog jumps on a veteran's body, the unforgettable moment that brings tears to everyone's eyes. In this video, you'll witness an unforgettable moment at a veteran's funeral, where a loyal German Shepherd dog showed deep compassion and loyalty beyond all limits. From the first touching moments at the cemetery to vivid memories of the battlefield, moments by the shocking river, and moments of calm in the storm of life, each scene send a powerful message of friendship, sacrifice, and undying faith. If you love their touching stories, meaningful moments filled with love, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel Four-Legged Loyalty so you don't miss any emotional videos in my journey. Let us spread the message of love together, because every living being deserves to live and be loved. Now, let us step into this emotional story and leave your feelings below the video. During the funeral, the coolness of the early autumn morning, the gray clouds drifted gently across the sky, and the quiet atmosphere of a memorial service enveloped the ancient cemetery. The scene seemed to be carved by time: rows of old stone tombs, rows of old trees bending in the wind, and the slow footsteps of those who came to comfort, each carrying their own feelings, the rich memories of a time gone by. The ceremony for veteran John was held with emotional solemnity. The sound of wind chimes echoed throughout the space, mixed with the sad singing of the live orchestra, all blending together like a symphony of memories and beliefs. Amidst the crowd dressed in black, the sad eyes of old friends, comrades, and family, an unexpected highlight appeared. Rex, the loyal canine dog, his sparkling eyes seemed to contain many life stories, appeared from behind the window of a small house outside the funeral area. Not a sudden appearance in the usual way. Rex walked slowly. Each step seemed to weave a spiritual journey. The curious and moved eyes of those present merged together when Rex stopped in front of John's grave, where fresh flowers were elegantly arranged. In that moment, it seemed that time stood still, all noise, all emotions disappeared, leaving only solemn silence and an invisible power of loyalty. The funeral director, an elderly man with a calm face and eyes full of emotions, gently walked forward, holding a bouquet of white flowers in his hand, like a symbol of purity in the midst of many events. He stopped in front of Rex, his eyes shining with pride and gratitude, as if in the dog's eyes he saw the soul of his deceased friend. The audience could not help but shed tears when feeling the harmony between humans and animals, the wordless connection of loyalty that transcends the borders of both time and space. The eyes following Rex's gentle gestures and the warm emotions suddenly spread, creating a vivid picture of the fateful encounter between the past and the present, between those who fought for the ideal and those who still hold on to the belief in love and loyalty. The footsteps gradually passed. The whispers of relatives, comrades, and words of sympathy created a melodious melody of nostalgia and hope. Rex stood there, not saying a word, but his eyes said it all. I am here, I'm always here, to remind us of what we have been through together. And in that moment, it seemed that the whole space of the cemetery became more sacred, like an invisible promise of the eternal life of friendship, of memories that never fade. In the pitch-black night, the sky was torn apart by the explosions and the dazzling lights of fireworks of war. Everything seemed to be immersed in an unnamed chaos. The night of the battle became alive with the rumbling of guns and the shouts of soldiers, mixed with the determined barks of Rex, his tireless, loyal friend. Amidst the storm of fire and smoke, Rex appeared like a brave knight, rushing into the crowd of sparks and flying bullets, not hesitating to risk his life to protect his beloved comrades. In that tense moment, Mark, a young soldier who had just joined the army, was struggling in the battle, his eyes filled with fear mixed with determination. Mark had heard about Rex from veteran soldiers like John, but now before his eyes, Rex was not just a dog but also the embodiment of loyalty and spiritual strength. Amidst the chaos, when the blinding lights intertwined with the chaotic sounds of the battlefield, Rex appeared and rushed to Mark's side, creating a breathtaking moment where time seemed to stop. Rex ran like the wind, his feet firmly planted on the ground filled with shrapnel and debris from the battle, carrying an innate strength. Not only stopping and protecting, Rex also used his fierce bark to warn of the surrounding dangers, causing the enemies to temporarily stop, amazed by his bravery. Meanwhile, Mark, despite his heart pounding, was inspired by Rex's bravery. He tried to regain his spirit, giving quick instructions for his teammates to move out of the danger zone. Every step, every gesture of Rex seemed to inspire the whole group. Each of them felt the power of an indomitable spirit, a firm belief in the friendship between humans and animals. As the explosions grew louder, Rex suddenly became aware of a new threat. A cloud of arrows falling from above was heading towards Mark. Without hesitation, Rex exploded with all his might, leaping forward and leaping into the air, like a living shield, shielding Mark from the dangerous arrows. That moment seemed to last forever in Mark's eyes. Despite the horror, it was impossible not to admire Rex's courage and determination. That momentary sacrifice saved Mark's life, creating an unforgettable memory for him and the other soldiers, as a living testament to the power of loyalty amidst the cloud of arrows. The scene, although chaotic and dangerous, was imprinted in the minds of those who witnessed it. The screams, the laughter amidst the tense moments, and Rex's determined barking blended together to create a symphony of emotions, fear mixed with hope, despair mixed with faith. That night, under the fiery sky, Rex was not only a protector, but also a symbol of spiritual strength, a boundless loyalty, a fire that burned in the hearts of every soldier fighting for freedom and life. As the explosions gradually faded away, and the battle temporarily subsided, the soldiers slowly gathered their faith after a terrifying night. Mark, with eyes shining with gratitude, kept telling the story of that moment about Rex, the brave friend who rushed into the storm of bullets, protecting him with all his soul. That story spread like a legend among the troops, as a reminder that in the darkest moments, loyalty and friendship can be the strength to overcome all dangers, inspiring faith and hope for brave people. In the hours after the fierce battle, when the sky suddenly changed from gray to a gloomy black due to the gathering storm clouds, the scene around the camp became chaotic and dangerous. The recent battle left terrible consequences. The sound of wind whistling through broken branches, the sound of heavy rain pouring down like nature's tears, and the river rushing beside the camp as if it were also crying for the losses of the war. In the midst of that chaos, John, a veteran soldier with sweat and blood-soaked clothes, eyes filled with sadness, but still filled with resilience, stood alone on the riverbank, where the rushing water burst, carrying everything from the past. John had suffered too much loss. Each wound, each painful memory of the battles made him feel like the whole world was collapsing around him. In the midst of that storm and panic, no one could hear the cries for help or the sound of hurried footsteps. Everything seemed to be silent in a gloomy way. Only the sound of the wind whistling and the sound of the river water rushing over the wet sand. Meanwhile, Rex, the loyal canine dog, as if called by a divine power, suddenly appeared from the rain, his eyes shining with determination. Without hesitation, Rex rushed into the middle of the storm, his nimble feet crossing each muddy puddle, heading towards John. The dog did not hesitate when he realized his friend was struggling in the middle of the dangerous riverbank. Rex gently touched John's leg, using the warmth of his body to wake him up from his lethargy and despair. The following moments seemed to last forever. Rex used all his strength to cling to John, gradually pulling him out of the cold and fierce water. The raindrops fell heavily, mixed with John's rapid breathing, creating a symphony of life in the midst of chaos. The two seemed to be intertwined. John, with tears in his eyes, gradually regaining some vitality, and Rex, with tireless determination, continuing to pull him towards safety. The surrounding space was filled with the sound of rain, the rustling of leaves, and the murmur of the river, as if nature was also cheering on this battle for life. Every step Rex took was a promise, a message of loyalty and friendship that overcame all challenges. John's tears mixed with the rain, as if reminding him that, even when life pushed him to the brink of despair, there were always moments of salvation, warm rays of light spreading from the heart of a loyal friend. After a while of struggling with the raging water, when the two of them, a tired soldier and a brave dog, finally reached the shore, John looked tremblingly at Rex. His eyes were filled with gratitude, as if to say, "Thank you, Rex. It's because of you that I'm still alive." The sighs, the drizzle of the rain, and the slow footsteps on the wet ground created a touching picture, clearly depicting the power of friendship and loyalty. In that moment, everything seemed to slow down. Time seemed to stand still in the silence of nature, leaving only John's strong heartbeat and Rex's gentle bark as a thank you. That scene was not just a simple journey of saving lives, but also a vivid testament to the strength of the human spirit when protected and inspired by the lasting friendship with loyal friends. And from that riverbank, amidst the rain and storm of war, the image of John and Rex was engraved in the mind of every soldier, as a symbol of hope and determination to rise up in the darkest moments of life. The next morning, as the mist gently covered the barracks, the atmosphere still echoed with the echoes of the night of war. The heavy breathing and the trembling of sweat in the soldiers' faces gradually eased the chaos of the previous night's battle, but deep inside their hearts, the pain of loss was still imprinted. In the makeshift tent, the dim light from the oil lamps reflected on the tired faces, each carrying their own story of fierce battles. Suddenly, while everyone was anxiously preparing for a simple breakfast, the sound of uneven breathing and a small commotion rang out, making the atmosphere tense. Linda, the young soldier with a bright smile, who had shown enthusiasm and courage in every battle, suddenly collapsed, her body trembling and no longer having the strength to fight, causing the whole camp to fall into a moment of painful silence. Immediately, in the chaos of emotions, Rex, the loyal canine dog with eyes that seemed to contain many stories of loyalty and love, suddenly appeared like a gentle ray of light in the darkness. Without any hesitation, Rex rushed into the middle of the soldiers, his ears perked up and his nose wrinkled as if he was sensing Linda's weak breath. He ran quickly, gently but decisively, using his warm nose to touch Linda's arm, as if saying, "Live fight, because we are always here with you." Rex's touch not only carried sympathy, but also a wordless comfort, helping Linda feel the protection, love, and care of her teammates around. In that moment, everything seemed to pause. Linda's breathing, the gentle sounds of the tent flapping in the wind, and the worried eyes of her teammates. A middle-aged soldier, who had witnessed countless losses during the war, quickly stepped forward, spoke words of comfort, and called the camp medical team. But before help could arrive, Rex himself led Linda away from the danger zone, gently pulling the young soldier to a quiet corner of the camp, where the warmth of human love could be felt amidst the coldness of war. As each second passed, Linda gradually recovered, while Rex stayed by her side, his eyes shining with worry mixed with faith that everything would be okay. Every glance, every gesture of Rex seemed to convey a message of loyalty that no matter how many storms, how many losses, love and care would always be the source of motivation to help everyone overcome. The young soldiers around who witnessed that scene also seemed to regain some faith in life. They looked at each other, sharing small smiles and silent nods, as a pledge to never lose the spirit of solidarity, even in the quiet moments of grief. That moment was not just a simple rescue, but also a testament to the strength of the fighting spirit, to Rex's unspoken loyalty, and to the belief that, in the darkest hours of war, there are always loyal friends willing to sacrifice to protect each other. When the medical team finally arrived, Linda was carefully cared for, but in her eyes as in the minds of all present, the image of Rex remained a symbol of hope, of a sacred friendship that would never fade. The quiet moments of that moment created an indelible mark, as a promise that, in the storms of life, there are always small rays of light to guide the way, bringing faith, comfort, and strength to continue walking. Rex, with his simple yet meaningful presence, helped not only Linda but also the entire barracks feel that, no matter how brutal the war is, humanity and loyalty are always the most powerful weapons. Before joining the army, John always sought peaceful moments in his beloved countryside where the red dirt roads, the faded thatched roofs, and the echoing laughter of children were a remedy to heal his soul after fierce battles. On a quiet afternoon, when the sunset dyed the ripe rice fields golden, John and Rex returned to the small village where he grew up. The gentle, rustic atmosphere of the countryside, with the scent of grass and trees, and the smell of soil after the rain, seemed to soothe the wounds of war, bringing the returnee a warm feeling of family. Upon arrival, John was welcomed by friendly neighbors, with sincere smiles and simple handshakes. Meanwhile, the village children, with curious and mischievous eyes, ran out to welcome John and Rex. For them, Rex was not only a loyal canine dog, but also a big friend who was willing to explore the mysteries of the small village with them. Laughter echoed through the village streets as Rex skipped and chased his shadow in the afternoon sunlight. John led Rex through small alleys where children gathered around old swings and played traditional games. In that space, childhood memories flooded back, cool afternoons, crisp laughter, and stories told by the stream. But not only that, John and Rex made each moment more meaningful. When the children were suddenly in danger, such as when a group of children got lost in the dense forest near the village or faced bad guys taking advantage of the situation, Rex always appeared as a true hero. One day, when the whole village was preparing for the autumn festival, a sudden storm came, causing heavy rain and strong winds. While everyone tried to protect what they could, a child named Lily, with an innocent face and innocent eyes, got lost in the storm. While everyone was worried, Rex did not hesitate to rush out of the center of the village hall, following the small trail of Lily running away into the middle of the storm. Rex's eyes seemed to shine in the dark night, carrying boundless faith and courage. Rex searched every corner, every small path, until he finally discovered Lily shivering beside a bush in the rain. Without hesitation, Rex immediately approached, using gentle and warm gestures, as if wanting to protect and soothe the child's fear. Lily, who was initially frightened, gradually felt safe when Rex surrounded her. Afterwards, John and the villagers quickly joined forces, helping Lily return to safety under the grateful eyes of the witnesses. The image of Rex leading the child through the storm, quietly but determinedly, became a memorable moment, depicting the power of loyalty and unconditional love between people and animals. After the storm, the village seemed to be reborn. The dark clouds gradually dissipated, giving way to a clear blue sky and warm sunshine. The children were playing again, laughter was everywhere, but now they had another story to tell, the story of Rex, the loyal friend, the hero of the village. John sat on the porch of the cottage, watching the scenery and listening to the laughter of children, his heart filled with pride and gratitude. The journey to protect children was not only the return of a soldier, but also a living testament to the attachment and comfort that love brings to little souls. In every step, in every smile of the children, Rex and John found new vitality, as a reminder that, no matter how difficult life is, the simple values of love, loyalty, and protection will always exist, spreading throughout the country. The recent battle left scars not only on the bodies, but also on the souls of the soldiers. As soon as the explosion subsided, the atmosphere in the barracks became heavy with fear and uncertainty. A shocking news spread. A young soldier named David was trapped under the rubble of an old building, which had been a symbol of hope before the war. Without hesitation, within seconds, a brave team of soldiers, including new recruits like Michael and Sarah, was sent to search for David in the dense forest surrounding the camp. In the dark space of the forest, where ancient trees with thick foliage blocked the light, Rex, the loyal, wordless friend, led the search party. The dog moved nimbly on the trails, shimmering under the thin layer of fog, his ears pricked, as if listening to the slightest sound. Michael, with worried eyes, followed closely behind Rex, his heart trembling at the sight of the ruins they had to face. Each step through the forest seemed to open a new chapter of the haunting war, when the rustling of dry leaves, the sound of wind whistling through the gaps in the treetops, mixed with the beating of each soldier's heart. Sarah, always strong but also unable to hide her anxiety, muttered a prayer under the eyes of Rex, her four-legged friend who always seemed to know the way to the darkest corners of the forest. Suddenly, Rex stopped, his nose wrinkled, and turned his head to look at a pile of moss-covered ruins. A faint sound, like a silent cry in the dark space, rang out from under the ruins. Without hesitation, Rex rushed forward, his nose lightly sweeping over each rock, each layer of dust, as if guiding the team. In that moment of suspense, Michael whispered, "Rex, it seems I found some sign." The sweat silently fell on his forehead like an oath that no one would be forgotten. Rex continued to lead, each step carrying the hope of the soldiers searching for their comrade. Finally, under the dust and rubble, a faint cry rang out, David's gasping breath. Michael and Sarah hurriedly pulled David out of the debris, while Rex stood by, his eyes filled with comfort and determination. The air in the forest seemed to slow down in that moment of salvation. The heavy breathing, the sound of wooden planks being turned over, and the rustling of leaves seemed to blend into a symphony of life. David, with a pained yet resilient expression, thanked each soldier, especially Rex, his loyal friend who had not hesitated to face death to save him. Sarah gently said, "We didn't abandon you. You will be fine." In everyone's eyes, Rex was not only a symbol of loyalty, but also a guiding light, carrying hope for a brighter tomorrow amidst the chaotic scene of war. As the rescue team left the forest, their faces were marked with exhaustion, but also with pride. They knew that no matter how many difficulties they faced, loyalty and solidarity would always lead the way, as Rex, their loyal friend, had shown them. The journey to find David was not just a simple rescue, but also a testament to the power of faith, love, and sacrifice, helping soldiers, even surrounded by the darkness of war, always find their way back to the light. As the night fell, the sky was filled with stars like sparkling diamonds on black velvet. John and the brave soldiers gathered around a warm campfire in the middle of a vast grassland. The fatigue after fierce battles gradually disappeared in the cool air of the late night, replaced by comfort and sincere sympathy between those who had gone through many hardships together. The campfire flickered, spreading a shimmering orange-yellow light onto the tired but equally resilient faces. In that moment, time seemed to stop. All pain seemed to be wrapped in the light of the fire, and the souls of the battlefield were blended with faith in tomorrow. John sat around the fire, his eyes thoughtfully looking at the starry sky, as if searching for answers to life's questions. The soldiers around, from new recruits like Michael and Sarah to comrades who have been through many campaigns, gradually opened up to share their memories, the joys and sorrows they have experienced together. The soft laughter, The lively storytelling mixed with the emotional sighs created a symphony of the soul, where each story was like a precious piece of a puzzle that portrayed a vivid picture of friendship and loyalty. Meanwhile, Rex, their wordless loyal friend, lay quietly at John's feet, his bright eyes reflecting the firelight as if containing a world of emotions. The atmosphere became more sacred when one of the older soldiers, with a warm and meaningful voice, gently said, "We have lost too much, but tonight, under the stars, let us swear that our friendship and loyalty will never fade." Rex taught us that, no matter how cruel the war is, love and protection for each other will always guide us. Those words seemed to be blown by the night wind, spreading throughout the camp, making everyone feel the power of a sacred oath. Michael, his voice trembling but full of faith, added, "Let us remember, whenever we feel tired, let us look into Rex's eyes and know that there is a friend always by our side, ready to overcome any challenge." Sarah also did not hesitate to share her own story, telling about the time she lost all hope after a brutal battle. But just remembering the image of Rex, his sincere eyes, and unconditional loyalty, she regained the strength to stand up and continue fighting. The stories gradually mixed with light laughter, but there were also moments of silent contemplation when everyone quietly looked up at the starry sky. Sometimes, just a look or a small gesture from Rex was enough to inspire the whole camp. The firelight danced on their faces, reflecting new faith and hope, as a promise that no matter how long the dark moments lasted, friendship and loyalty would always be the guiding light. That night, under the vast starry sky, it was not only the oath of the soldiers but also the commitment of a whole family of comrades. Each person, despite carrying their own emotional wounds and unforgettable memories, realized that in the warm campfire, they found new comfort and strength. Rex, with his calm demeanor and eyes that seemed to understand everyone's thoughts, became a living symbol of loyalty, of love that overcomes all challenges. And from that night on, whenever the soldiers remembered, they reminded each other that, under the bright starry sky, they swore together, "We will never lose our team spirit, and will always remember that, in the darkest hours, just remember Rex's eyes, faith will be rekindled." In the bustling atmosphere of the barracks after long days of fighting and sacrifice, the new recruits entered the camp with a mixture of confusion, anxiety, and excitement to prove themselves. Under the gentle light of dawn, when the mist still lingered on the trees surrounding the camp, Rex, the loyal canine dog of the whole unit, became the bridge between the new hearts and the experienced soldiers. New recruits like Michael, Sarah, and other young faces were exposed for the first time to the atmosphere of a real combat unit, where every smile, every word, and every look contained faith and expectation. Rex, with a calm but equally agile appearance, approached the new recruits as if to welcome the young hearts into a family full of traditions of loyalty. Without words, through tail waggings, soft barks, and subtle gestures, Rex seemed to be telling the recruits about the wordless lessons of life, about how loyalty and caring will always be the most powerful weapons in any situation. During a morning training session, as the sun began to rise behind the hills, the recruits were divided into small groups to learn how to move, communicate, and cooperate on the battlefield. In that moment, Rex appeared among the crowd as a wordless teacher. The dog gently moved along a path that only Rex seemed to know, guiding each step through the bumpy roads of the camp. Michael, initially shy, gradually became inspired by Rex's natural and decisive actions. He began to follow closely in his direction, trying to listen and learn through every gesture. Sarah, her long hair fluttering in the wind, stopped beside Rex as the dog turned to greet each new recruit, her eyes gradually brightening as if finding a strong source of encouragement. In that moment of exchange, the atmosphere of the camp seemed to be warmed by the friendliness and connection between the soldiers, from those who had experienced countless challenges to those with new hearts, full of hope and desire. A veteran trainer, with a warm voice and enthusiasm, said, "Look at Rex, our wordless friend. He teaches us that loyalty is not something that can be bought, but must be cultivated through small actions every day." The training sessions gradually changed from tactical lessons to intimate moments of exchange, where everyone gathered around a simple meal after training, sharing their own stories. Rex is always present, his eyes following every smile, every story of the new recruits, as if wanting to engrave in their hearts a lesson about empathy and humanity. The new recruits not only learn how to fight, but also learn how to listen, how to share, and how to cherish every moment because, according to Rex, every day is precious, every person has value, and every act of kindness can change a life. When the evening falls, the camp is immersed in the warm light of oil lamps, stories, laughter, and confidences echo from every corner of the camp. Michael and Sarah and other new recruits gather around a campfire, where they recount their experiences of the new day, the challenges they have faced, and their dreams for tomorrow. They talk about Rex as a friend, as a small but profound teacher who opened up a world of loyalty, sympathy, and spiritual strength for them. In that moment of exchange, Rex was not only a symbol of loyalty, but also a living testament to the friendship and solidarity between soldiers, whether they were those who had fought through many storms or new recruits who had just set foot on an arduous journey. And from then on, every time a new member joined, Rex's image was always told as a legend, as a reminder that, in this family, no one is alone and loyalty will always guide us through all challenges. While the storm of war had not yet completely passed, the barracks suddenly fell into a moment of emotional silence, as if the whole world had stopped breathing to listen to the hearts of the soldiers. In the small tent, the flickering oil lamp reflected on the tired faces, the silent pain after fierce battles. The sound of the wind from outside whistled through the cracks in the door, mixed with the heavy breathing of hearts trying to regain warmth in their souls. In the midst of that scene, Rex the loyal four-legged friend appeared as a living symbol of comfort and hope. Rex gently stepped in, his deep eyes seemed to carry all the wordless stories of the battlefield. He moved slowly through each path in the camp, each step seemed to carry the power of faith and loyalty. An old soldier, with a wrinkled face and sad eyes, stopped next to an old blanket on the floor of the tent. As Rex gently placed his head on the soldier's hand, a sense of comfort ran through his veins, as if all the wounds of the past were soothed in that quiet moment. The scene was like a vivid picture in the middle of the night. The whispering of the wind, the soft breathing of soldiers, and the soft footsteps of Rex blended together to create a lyrical melody. Michael, a new recruit who had just arrived at the camp, sat alone in the corner of the camp, his sparkling eyes seemingly searching for comfort. In just a moment, when Rex approached and glanced affectionately, Michael felt that no matter how brutal the war was, there was still care, connection, and warm humanity. Outside the camp, the rain still fell gently, each drop like the rhythmic beat of a heart, reminding everyone that no matter how much loss there was, life still went on. Under the dim light of the oil lamp, Rex walked around, as if he were visiting each soldier, stirring in them the belief in tomorrow. Each gentle touch of his claws on his hand, each affectionate glance from him conveyed the message, "We are not alone," and in each of these hearts, there is always a flame of hope that never goes out. In that sacred moment, the soldiers' whispers began to tell their own stories, memories of family, of distant loved ones, and of unfulfilled dreams. One young soldier said, "I used to think that war was just explosions and screams, but now, thanks to Rex and quiet moments like this, I realize that loyalty and humanity are what truly make us strong." Those words echoed softly through the tent, like a song of life in the midst of the storm. Gradually, the eyes of each person changed from tiredness and doubt, now shining with a little warmth of faith. The soldiers, despite having endured so much pain, were now empowered by unexpected moments of peace. Rex, with his simple yet profound presence, helped them realize that in the storms of life, just by finding quiet moments, each person could regain their vitality, regain their faith in tomorrow. The scenery outside the camp gradually became more peaceful. The gentle sound of rain seemed to soothe broken souls. In that small tent, amidst the whispers of the soldiers, Rex forever engraved in each person's heart the image of comfort and hope. And in that sacred moment, everyone silently promised each other that no matter how long the war lasted, no matter how much the storm suppressed all joy, they would always find a little light, the light of friendship, of loyalty, and of meaningful quiet moments. In the solemn atmosphere of the funeral, when the atmosphere was filled with nostalgia and sorrow, all eyes turned to John's grave. The image of Rex the loyal dog appeared as a symbol of hope and promise that never fades. In that moment, each soldier, each relative, seemed to turn back time, remembering the difficult days, the fierce battles that had passed, and the peaceful moments that had been shared together. Vivid memories flooded back, from the fierce fighting nights, the dangerous rescue trips, to the warm campfire exchanges under the starry sky. All seemed to blend into an epic of friendship and loyalty. Each step towards John's grave was not only a tribute to a resilient soldier, but also an affirmation that, no matter how many events happened in life, those memories will live forever in the hearts of each person. Stories about Rex, the silent but powerful friend, echoed everywhere, as a reminder that, in the darkest moments, with faith, loyalty, and love, every person can find the light of life again. Amidst the cries and whispers of family, friends, and comrades, Rex still stood there, his affectionate eyes as if reminding that friendship, sacrifice, and loyalty are the eternal values of life. In that sacred moment, the soldiers began to recount their memories about the night of battle, when Rex rushed into the rain of bullets to protect his young friend Mark. about the moment by the river where Rex pulled John out of the fierce storm, about the warm exchanges around a campfire, where the oath of loyalty was engraved in every look and gesture. They remembered the moments when Rex comforted each person with a gentle touch, with a look full of faith, as if to say, I am here and I will always be here until hope is reborn. Those stories gradually crept into everyone's minds, like seeds of faith planted over time. Every time they remembered, they felt the spiritual strength of friendship, of those who had overcome many difficulties together, even the storms of war. Every tear that fell, every light smile through the troubled silence was proof of the eternal promise they had sworn, that no matter how far life took them, no matter how much loss and hardship, the memory of friendship and loyalty would always be the source of strength for them to continue living, to continue fighting for faith and freedom. At John's grave, under the dim moonlight and the gentle wind rustling the leaves, the air seemed to be purified by the presence of a living past. The unspoken vows, the stories told from the soldiers' hearts, and the image of Rex, their loyal friend who had accompanied them through difficult times, created a touching picture, an epic of life. It was at that moment that everyone realized that, whether the war had ended or not, the undying promise of friendship and loyalty would live forever, like a light that never went out, guiding them on the path to finding joy, hope, and happiness.